I know.
I don't think so. They can't see me, but you know
wait.
That's fine. They can hear me. That's
Can they?
matters.
Okay, I think they should be able to see you just as soon as their delay is done now.
Okay, I hope so. If not, it's fine.
Oh, wow. What's hilarious, too, is, like, the last 24 hours, like, first of all, I'm, like, about to start my period, or maybe I just did, I'm not sure. And so the last 24 hours, I've just been like, everything is so hard, everything is so difficult, and why am I so sad in a random moment on the subway train? And so I'm just like, this was, like, supposed to happen. It's just, you have to finish out the day. Oh, my God.
There, I'm here. Hello.
Ugh.
It's me.
Oh wait, I think I just took you away again. Sorry, I keep clicking the YouTube screen, and that's what takes you away. I'm learning my lesson.
Okay, it's fine. I'm there. It's me.
I will never click away from you again.
It's okay. I forgive you.
So here we are, 8:37. I hope you had nowhere to be tonight. Dark Angel, I know he left, but he'll be right back. That was my bad. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Wow. Everyone who's here, I am just amazed and impressed with your dedication to Horror Movie Club. I appreciate it. So now that they can all ideally see you and hear you, can you tell us again who you are, about your channel? We're really going into the past.
Yeah, sure. I'm Lee. Hello.
It's Lee!
I run a YouTube channel called Those Horror Pals. You can find me in the chat over there and click and subscribe. And hey,
please do.
Please subscribe to my Patreon. Anyway,
hell yeah.
Yeah, I do a channel talking about like basically every horror movie that ever gets released in theaters or on VOD because I'm a lunatic. I just really like horror movies and I like talking about them, and I have friends who like talking about them, so I bring people on my channel to talk about stuff together, and it's just a good time. And for those who missed it before, Felicia and I met at a con.
Yes, New Jersey Horror Con.
Yes, and we have an interesting connection.
Yes.
The movie that I made starred a college friend of hers,
Taylor Turner, the tall, skinny, sweetie pie man himself.
Yes.
Yes, and Lee's film did also win Best Feature at New Jersey Horror Con, which is pretty badass, I'll say.
Thank you.
It was literally like I talked to you and I was like, oh my god, his film won. Because I hadn't seen it, so I had no idea if it was good or not. Like, I was like, hell yeah.
It still has not sunk in that happened.
It was so cool. That was a really great moment. Especially your thank you speech was just so genuine. Of just like, I had no idea this was going to happen.
It's completely unexpected. I really didn't. I was like, somewhere in that video, you can just hear me like scream, "What?"
Oh my god, yeah, it's great.
Like, Arctic's gonna win. Arctic's gonna win. They have the star power and the budget and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks, Soska Sisters.
Oh yeah, oh my god.
Such sweethearts.
They are the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Like, it's like they treat everyone as if it's their best friend. They're like their best friend.
Yes, they're the sweetest people on earth. I love them.
Yeah. Ben just asked if we're both out of New York City. I'm based in Brooklyn, and you're based in Jersey, so we're really close to each other.
Born in Brooklyn, based in Jersey, yeah.
You're born in Brooklyn? Where?
Gravesend.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was born in Maryland, so none of it matters. But that's still very cool. Okay, so now I feel like I have to repeat just things that were said 40 minutes ago. This month on Horror Movie Club, we're doing found footage, which a lot of you have been requesting, so it was time. And I feel very excited about it. And we started, normally what we do is I start with one that I feel as though everyone has already seen. That's what we usually start the month off with. But since you were coming on, you automatically recommended this movie. I was like, this is actually a great idea because I'll get to start, because sometimes what happens, this is very normal. A lot of times with the voting, people will pick things like they've heard of, right? And so sometimes I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I just want to watch all the ones I've never seen before. But that's actually, it's like we want both, right? We want to talk about someone that we really know, like, you know, Blair Witch, and like deep dive into those. And then we also want to see some that we've never heard of. And so, Noroi, I already forgot how you said to say it.
Noroi.
Noroi. Noroi is one I'd never even heard of before, and I haven't seen a lot of non-U.S. found footage films other than Troll Hunter, which is just a comedy in many ways.
Wow, it's so good.
It's very good. It's very good, and just shocking. Like somebody actually brought me the DVD. I'm in a band. I don't know if you know that, but I'm in a band, and at one of my shows, someone was like, "You have to watch this," and I was like, "This?" And I was like, "What is this? This looks ridiculous." And then I watched it, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm gonna come see one of your shows now.
Oh, you have to. You have to. You have to come to Brooklyn.
Let me know next time you guys are playing.
Oh, I will. And we also play in Jersey sometimes, but
awesome.
I'll let you know. But this was not, I will say, not that funny.
No.
This is true full-on horror. And in a way, I think the found footage in this works better than a lot of the American found footage I have seen.
I agree.
Yeah. So how did you come upon this movie?
This is one that like I had heard like about because I really like J-horror, so I would like I'm familiar with a lot of names, but I had never seen it. And my friend Dylan like loves this movie. And he was like, "You need to watch this. It's amazing." And it came to Shudder, and I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And I watched it. I was like, "Oh man,
nice."
It's genuinely terrifying. Like I don't get affected by horror movies that easily, but like this one really, really messed me up.
Can I tell you the truth of it?
What?
I started watching it last night in my room, and it got to the first sequence where like you see something where it's like, ooh, did I just see something? Like it's when they're in the woods and you see like the being standing behind.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally was like, and my boyfriend was at work, and I was just with my dog Toby, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish this in the morning. And I got freaked out. Which is like the truth for me. Like I love horror movies so much, but I am also genuinely afraid.
Watch Lake Mungo until you have like a comfortable space to watch it in.
Oh really? Is it so much?
Lake Mungo is one of those ones that just like creeps you out to like a ridiculous degree.
Oh God, yeah. If anything can make me like I live in an apartment and a building that I don't know how old it is, but it's not haunted in any way, I assume. But if a movie can make me start to wonder if the sounds of my neighbors are the sounds of a demon, that's a very good movie. And this movie did that for me.
Nice. Yeah, it's messed up.
It's messed up. I'll give everyone a little bit of plot in case you didn't get to watch it. And if you didn't get to watch it, you should go to Shudder and check it out. But it is about a paranormal investigator named Kobayashi. And at the beginning, we find out that his house was burned down with his wife inside, and he has disappeared. That's sort of the start of the movie. And then we start to see all the footage that he has been recording on this particular case. And at the very end, we sort of get a little bit of an understanding on what may have happened to this man.
Yes.
And everyone else.
that sums it up pretty well, I think. It's like the last documentary this guy ever made.
Yes.
And it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. And basically,
it's a really good mystery.
It's a
really good, like, it unravels as you go.
Yeah.
And the more you realize, the more terrifying it gets.
Yeah, it's also an interesting one because I feel like a lot of found footage movies, other than Troll Hunter, can feel very contained in like one location with one group. And this expands to a lot of different people in different parts of, like not different parts of Japan, but at least parts of Tokyo. And it just involves a lot of different groups of people that all come together through this demon activity or whatever. And so that's also interesting. It's not just like a found footage of like people in a house.
Right. And what I was saying to you before we started, like I love found footage movies that are like presented in like full documentary style.
Yeah.
because there's something about them that just makes them feel more real.
Yeah. And this also with the I don't know if anyone heard us when we ranted about Hell House 2 and how it sucks. But this movie has some like TV clips throughout it. And because I know nothing about Japanese television, I would never be able to tell you if they're realistic or not.
They're very realistic.
Okay, that's good to know. But either way, it's like all of this movie felt so real to me.
Yeah.
And to the point, like I went on the IMDb because I was attempting, because I like to like give people some background on movies and things like that during these horror movie clubs. But on this one, the IMDb, none of the actors have IMDb profiles except for the one actress that is the actress in it. What is her name? I'm gonna be so bad with all these Japanese names.
I can't remember her name. I just watched it and I can't remember. Oh my god.
It is Marika or Marika.
Oh, okay. Right.
Something like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Marika. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but she is the only one that has any sort of IMDb present because she's actually an actress in Japan.
And she's playing herself, basically.
Yeah, she's playing herself. And she's so good, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I thought she was amazing.
One scene involving her freaked me the hell out, and like I'll get to that in a minute. But like, what I love about this movie is that because it didn't have U.S. distribution for so long.
Oh yeah, this came out in 2005, by the way, for anyone who didn't know.
And the Shudder release of it, to my knowledge, was like the first U.S. release it actually got.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, which is like 2016, 2017 it came out, which is crazy.
Wow. Shudder is like killing it. Shudder also has really expanded my view into like more horror, foreign horror films because they sort of give me a curated list where I'm not having to look up things and get recommendations all the time from people. It's like, oh, this is on Shudder, I'll check it out. Yeah. It's really helpful. It's really helpful.
It's one of the best things I've ever subscribed to, honestly. I'm
me too.
So happy to be like a Shudder member.
How dare they not sponsor any of this show?
Yeah, really. Like, come on, Shudder. Pay us both money.
Yeah, they saw all that buffering for 40 minutes. And they said, no way, Jose.
But yeah, like what I love about this movie and the fact that it didn't get that U.S. distribution is like it was the kind of movie for a long time that I guess you would just like stumble upon on like some third party site, and if you didn't know this was a movie, you would think it's real.
Totally, like this felt like a weird YouTube video that someone might like send you, and it like the whole thing. It like doesn't feel like a movie. Also, thank you, Dreadlord, for your club dues. I much appreciate that. Okay, so I want to know for you. So there's a few images that come up throughout this movie. One is, which are very scary. One of the classic images that I love in all movies, even though I'm sad for the birds, is when something scary is happening. Birds are going to commit suicide on the side of your house. Which is in a lot of like demon scary things. But I really like it in this one because I feel like they do this with everything they add into this movie, is that they expand upon something further than just like a spooky thing. They're not like, here's a spooky thing. They're like, here's a spooky thing, and then later, here's why that spooky thing exists, and here's why it's in this ritual or whatever. Yeah. And so they have things like that. Then they have the imagery of the what the aluminum foil man calls like the worms.
Oh yeah, the ectoplasmic worms.
Yeah, the ectoplasmic worms.
Which like I think and I might be wrong about this, but from my interpretation, were those the fetuses?
Yes.
Okay,
I think. What I thought. Yes. So okay. If people didn't, I know this is not as well known one, so if people haven't watched it yet or had a chance to watch it yet, I'm gonna do my best to say a few things. So the demon that they are trying to pursue is called Kagutaba.
Yeah.
Yes, and basically some community in the mountain wilderness area. I don't know. They have all these rituals to kind of keep the demon at bay, it seems. Yeah. And somehow this demon has sort of gotten released, and this one woman seems to be trying to put together the ritual to fully release the demon.
Yeah.
Is that sort of what's
Like,
happening?
fully resurrect. Yeah.
Yes, and so they need a few things. One, they need a someone that has like psychic powers,
Yeah.
a medium.
They need like a powerful medium, and then like the original ritual was done with like baby monkeys that they would like feed to the medium.
Yes.
And
feed the baby monkeys. That's important.
Yeah, and then in present time that translates to like aborted fetuses.
Yes.
That they fed to the medium, which is crazy
and gross.
Yeah.
And somehow they have that horrifying imagery of aborted fetuses being fed to what ends up being like a 10-year-old girl, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is that shot of like her like spirit with them like crawling all over.
Yes.
Like,
it's like they make it so scary and creepy without actually being without showing us like gross baby fetuses. They show us like this representation of it that actually is so much scarier.
Yeah.
Which I truly appreciate. And then I don't know about you, but the little girl Kana, she is who I was like really invested in the most in this movie. One, probably because she's the child,
right,
and she's in danger. But she's also like they have these television sequences of them not of nothing to do with our main character, but of this other medium doing these experiments with her and her being able to like guess things and like make water appear, and she has all these powers, and then she goes missing, and like it's I don't know, I was like I felt so connected to her like the whole movie. I was like always wondering where she was.
Like, I want to know what happened to this 10-year-old who just like vanished,
who had all these magical powers.
Right. For me, like there's the one specific scene that creeps me out. Like I get full body chills every time it happens. The scene when the director and his wife take Marika into their house. And she's like making them dinner, and then she gets up to get something, and she's just standing in the doorway like groaning.
Oh, that is so gross.
That like every time I watch it, I'm just like, ugh. It's the noise, it's the fact that her back is to the camera. It's just like everything about that scene.
Totally.
I'm so freaked out by that.
Because her voice, her whole presence is so sweet. Yeah. And then when she starts groaning, it's like this low guttural noise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so creepy.
Terrifying. But then also like the thing that like really just like creeps me out is like every single person who like they come in contact with ends up dying in some horrible fashion.
Yeah.
Like they'll just talk to somebody and they'll be like they died 2 days later.
Yeah, and that's what this like the movie like this film's scope, it just is so much bigger than I assumed it was going to be for this film. Like even what was that part about the playground, and there was like 8 people had hung themselves on the swings.
And 2 of them were people who were like connected to this whole thing.
Yeah, and so like some of them were connected, but some of them weren't, and so it's like the person investigating this, he is not even near the scope of what's at the demon's destruction. Like he's only seeing parts of it, so we're only seeing parts of it.
Yeah,
and it's pretty crazy. What did you think about the aluminum, like the tinfoil dude?
I kind of love him. Like I it's such a weird thing, but it also like he's such like it's such a good character in the movie. Like he genuinely does like care about like this little girl and like is trying to like save her, and he's just like, but he's also like completely just mentally not there.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so like the more shit gets crazy, and the more like he's sensitive to everything that's going on. So the crazier things get, and the more like erratic he starts acting, you're like, oh, something's about to happen.
Yeah. Well, did you have an understanding? Did they say why he likes to be covered in tinfoil? I can't remember.
It was something to do with like so the worms can't get to him or something.
Okay. It like somehow deflects them or something.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. I would assume it's something to do with like the same thing as like alien people.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. And he's like, what do they call it? I think they call him a super psychic, which I'm sure translates to something much cooler in Japanese than super psychic. But yeah.
I
And
love it.
and then I think sort of so the other sort of main person in this is the woman that's like trying to make this whole thing happen. I can't remember her name right now, but she like has the son, and
Yeah,
she's the one that ultimately ends up like setting up this whole scary
right.
ritual.
Because she says like God was speaking to her, and it was probably like Kagutaba like telling her what to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm also like really glad. I see a lot of people in the chat that have watched the movie.
Good.
So well done, people. I always am very happy when you guys when you guys check it out beforehand. A lot of you really do. Um, so Ben was saying he likes the scene where they test his psychic powers. Absolutely, that was one of my favorite
Yeah.
sequences.
Because that feels like genuine Japanese TV, and it feels so real.
Yeah, totally.
Even though it's talking about like psychic kids and like ESP and shit, but I love that scene.
Yeah, it's so cool. Oh, and you know what else? Other scene I loved with her was when she's at dinner and she makes all the stuff fly off the table by accident.
Oh yeah,
That's so good because
man.
it's amazing to me. Like this movie felt like everything that was happening, even if it was like otherworldly, felt so real.
Yes, that's like why the movie works for me so well. It's like everything about it feels genuine, even though it's dealing with like this crazy, like totally supernatural shit. It all feels 100% based in reality.
Oh, totally. Also, so oh God, he's at my window. Said he's like a crazy little burrito.
Yes, especially at the end when he dies.
Oh,
He's like a crazy little burrito.
He's a crazy little burrito. Oh yeah, and he really is so sweet. And when he's like running through the actually, I thought that was one of the scariest sequences for me.
Oh, in the end, like when they're in the woods. Yeah.
Yes, and when they split up.
Yeah.
That's it. When they split up, I was like, "Don't split up!" Oh my! Obviously, every freaking horror movie ever made. Don't split up. If you are in peril, do not split up.
Yeah.
But him like chasing and looking for Kana and like going towards her, even though he's terrified of these like
he's, like,
worms,
screaming, and like they're just trying to figure out what's going on, and then and then you get to the shot of like, you know,
what he's afraid of, and you're like, I'm afraid too.
So scary.
Absolutely.
But also the part that gets me is like when they're first in his house and he's like freaking out, and then the footage starts like warping, and you get like all the Kagutaba masks like showing up.
Yes. Oh my god. Like and I really didn't see the ending coming. I don't know. I guess I didn't think they were gonna show us at all. I'm really skipping ahead right now, but I want to mention it. I didn't. So there's two endings basically.
Yeah.
And you asked me when I got on here and I would have missed it. So there's like a little bit of credits where it's like cameraman, his name, blah blah. And I literally this morning almost was like, oh my god, I'm late for work. Okay, I'm glad this is over. I gotta run. And then I saw it continued on, and I was like, uh-oh. And I came back to my laptop, and I was like, oh no.
Like another 5 minutes after that, and that scene is like insanely scary.
It's so scary because it feels I don't know. It's like it feels so honest and like I don't know how to explain like why it's like why does some found footage and I don't know the answer to this, why does like some found footage even if it feels fantastical and has like computer effects of like the kid's face warping, why does that feel so real? And then you can have other found footage that maybe even has a higher budget or something and is like it feels so false. It's like what is it?
Yeah, it's something about the presentation of this movie. I really think it's that whole documentary aspect of it, because it just like it adds this sense of realism to the whole thing, where it's like you have somebody after the fact being like editing this all together and being like, this is what happened, this is the truth, like a truth of like, you know, the, like everything. So I think it just works better. And then that last scene is just like, it feels so like raw and so real, and I don't know, I love it.
And you know one like small moment and I love too is like when Kobayashi grabs the camera. So when she's like already set herself on fire.
Yes.
And he still goes back. He's like, and he like grabs the camera anyway because he knows he needs to keep recording it. And it's just like, and that happens a couple of times where like something bad is kind of happening and he's still just like, don't let me get the camera. Because it's so crazy.
It's just crazy. It's such an insane scene. And like, I can't. Like that's why I wanted to make sure you saw it, because I was like, you need to see that to get the full experience. Like, don't miss that scene.
Totally. I also want to ask, I see people in the chat talking about Recycled. Do you know what that is?
I don't know.
I think they're talking about other Japanese horror films.
I saw someone asked if it's body horror like Tetsuo. It's not like body horror at all. No, it's very much like crazy ghost story, but done in found footage. But it is so scary.
It's like it's not gross in any way. It's just like extremely unsettling.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, honestly. It's like it's just really unnerving. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. And I think what really helps too, and I find this with a lot of times when you're watching a foreign horror film, is sometimes another country's version of horror can make it even more unsettling to an American viewer because it's like outside of what I understand as a horror movie.
Yes. That's why The Grudge works so well for me.
Right. That's why The Grudge works. Because The Grudge's plot is actually quite boring. It's a ghost story. But
but the feel of it is so different to what you understand.
Yes.
It just works.
That's
why I love J-horror in general. Like, it's just it works so well.
Well, I have a question for you since we're here. Do you have any other J-horror movies you'd recommend? Because I actually haven't seen a lot. Like, do you have some faves?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No. I love the whole subgenre. So, like, Dark Water is amazing.
Yeah.
Really sad, but really amazing.
Okay.
And then.
I'm writing it down. I hope everyone else is.
Pulse is so good.
Pulse. Okay. Writing it down.
Very ahead of it. I think that also might be on Shudder.
Okay. So. What's that one about?
The internet.
Oh, a scary place, as we've all learned.
Yeah, well, it came out at a time when, like, the internet was brand new to Japan.
Oh.
So it was, like, very early days, and it was really, like, really prophetic in that it kind of predicted the whole, like, social media disconnect years and years and years before it happened. But it's really good. And then it's not Japanese, but a movie called Shudder.
Okay.
It's a Thai horror film, and it's really
good.
I
don't know if I've ever seen a Thai horror film.
That's the only one I've seen, but it's awesome.
Also, Dreadlord on here said, I cut the damn lights on after that ending.
And I agree. Like, it's one of there are very few movies that have genuinely freaked me out after I watched them. Noroi was one of them. Lake Mungo is one of them. Hereditary is one of them, as he mentioned.
Oh my god.
And then Lovely Molly is one of them.
Ooh, I've never seen that.
That's from the guys who made the Blair Witch Project, and it's really creepy.
You're saying so weird. It's like, this is super random, but I grew up in Maryland. I think I said that already. But my next door neighbor growing up went to college with the guy that made Blair Witch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That's awesome.
They were like friends in college. He's like, yeah, I had this crazy idea about scaring all these kids in the woods. And I was like, apparently it worked really well.
Yeah, it did. It changed the game.
Yeah, seriously. And so do you happen to know, like, so obviously this is, when I'm watching it, when I'm trying to look up stuff, I can't find a lot about it. So it's like, I'm assuming the idea is that this really, really happened. I wonder, like, do you know, I want to know, like, what the response to this movie in Japan was. Was it marketed as a real movie?
Find much either.
Yeah, it's like, how do I find that stuff out?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know the director made a bunch of other, like, mockumentary horror movies.
Oh, really? Because that's what I always find so fascinating about found footage a lot of times is the marketing of them. Is like, oh, this is so real. Oh, my God, this really happened. Oh, my God. And, like, and I feel like a lot of times, nowadays, it's very understood that they're not real. Right. But back when, like, Blair Witch was coming out, and I'm like, in 2005 in Japan, like, I wonder if a lot of people thought this was real.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to know. I know, like, I was looking, like, the only thing I was able to find was, like, general critical response to it, and they were just, like, some people were praising it because it was, like, you know, more, like, deep than most, like, you know, J-horror films, but then other people were like, it's too convoluted. I'm like, I don't agree, but
Some
I don't know.
people have
That's
said
the most I was able to find.
Say it again?
That's just the most I was able to find.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I really don't know much else.
A couple people said some more names in here. So Michael says Imprint.
Okay. Suicide Club I've heard of, I haven't seen.
Suicide Club. Apparently Haunted Asylum is trash. Skip that one.
I haven't seen that one. I've heard a lot of things about it, and I've heard very mixed things about it, so I don't know what to believe. Audition is a classic.
I've never seen it.
It's fucked up.
I've heard I've read about that movie a lot, which is weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if I can like hang watching that movie. Like, can I handle it? I don't know.
It depends how well you can do, like, you know, really intense, like, gore and gross stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of like torture stuff, right?
Yeah, there's a bit of torture in it, but it's like a really good movie, so it's like I can forgive it in that case.
Is the torturer is like a woman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's like a whole like obsession movie. That's the whole plot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lovely Molly for Ben Grimm, who asked like Lovely what, or oh no, sorry, Dreadlord asked Lovely what. Yeah, no, Lovely Molly. It's a great movie.
Lovely Molly, yeah. And also Ben said K-pop horror called White. K-pop horror? Is there singing?
That is insane. I love that.
I'm looking that up on my phone right now.
I didn't know that was a thing, but I will watch it.
Yeah, K-pop horror. Oh my god. Isn't it funny like how big that has gotten here in the last like year?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Oh, also, I don't know if it's Korean or Japanese. The Wailing.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen
Very
it.
recent, but amazing.
Yeah,
amazing movie.
Oh god, there's so little I've seen.
Train to Busan too. That's.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, I cried.
What I've seen.
That one made me cry.
I watched that with my Patreon people. We have like once a month we like watch a movie together on Cast, and we watched that last month, and that movie freaking blew my mind. And I knew it would because everyone said it would, but I just did not understand how effective that would be.
Yeah, I cried a lot at that movie.
And also, like, I have to, living in Brooklyn, I work in Manhattan, so I have to ride the subway a lot. And I am, like, a little bit claustrophobic on the subway and trains in general when it's really crowded. Like, that is one, like, strong anxiety I have. So when I started watching that movie, I was just like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's intense, too. It's just really intense and really sad, and I love it.
Oh,
and they're doing an American remake of that.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, they shouldn't.
I agree they shouldn't. Although I heard rumors of James Wan directing it, which, like, interesting, but I still don't really want.
Did you see the new Grudge? Did you review it?
Yeah, I reviewed it. I was disappointed.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was poo-poo.
I was like, I expected to hate it more, but I did not like it.
It was crazy.
I watched your video on it, and I was like, yeah, I agree with, like, pretty much everything you're saying.
Yeah. I just couldn't, because we were saying earlier about, like, the vibe, the aesthetic, the Japanese-ness, if you will, is what makes that movie work. And if you take all of that away, it's just like a super boring American ghost story that's not that interesting.
Exactly. And like also like the two ghosts were not nearly as iconic as Kayako and Toshio are at all.
Literally just stood there.
Yeah, they don't do anything. And then like the weirdest thing that I called out in my review, but like honestly, it's such a little thing, but it makes the world a difference, is that American architecture does not work for that type of story.
Oh. Okay, I have to watch your review. I'm sorry, but tell me more.
Japanese architecture is so like alien and different.
Uh-huh.
And it sets the tone. It's claustrophobic and weird. And a two-story Gothic house in America just doesn't work for that.
It just makes it feel like every other haunted house movie that you've seen, except for like worse.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen his other movies, Nicholas Pesci?
Yes, I have, and his other movies are great.
What was the one? What was the first one? There's like a girl on the cover.
Eyes of My Mother.
Yeah, what is that one about?
Fantastic movie. Honestly, I can't even explain it to you.
It isn't. It's fine.
A little girl, like this woman who, as a little girl, witnesses this like really awful trauma, and it messes her up for life.
Got it.
And then his second one, Piercing, is also great.
You know what I thought before I saw the new Grudge?
What?
So I listened to some interviews with him first. I listened to some random like Lin Shaye interviews, and from what I was listening to, I was wondering, because I already saw all the hate for it before I even walked into the movie theater, and I was like, I wonder if this is like a director that's come from like a low budget thing that's used to doing whatever he wants in this really weird way, and I wonder if like whatever he's doing is just not working for this scale of film. And then I walked in and I was like, that is not what's happening here. It's almost like everything got so generalized and like sterilized.
Yeah. For me, like, I don't know if this is the case, but it really felt like there was a lot of studio interference.
I am really hoping that was what the problem was.
Yeah, like, it felt to me like an indie director who the studio were like, no, you need X number of jump scares in this movie for it to work.
Oh, yeah. And like, every single shot had, like, a random CGI'd shadow in the background.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is this supposed to be scary? Like, I don't understand, like, and it didn't even seem like a rated R movie to me.
It didn't, no. There was,
after
like,
all that.
in it, the exception of, like, Lin Shaye's hand at that one point that was, like, warranted a rated R rate. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
With the way they were hyping it up, where they were like, oh, this is extreme, we're going really into the rated R, like, territory. And I was like, nothing in this is that crazy.
You know what I didn't understand, too? So she cuts her fingers off, and then she apparently isn't found for, like, some amount of time, like, many days after that. How did she survive with her fingers still bleeding for that many days?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that's, like, the stupidest question, but I'm just like, there was things like that where I was like, these timelines aren't working. Like, things about this are just not working.
Yeah, that's true. I just thought about that, because, like, by the time the detective finds her, the husband's, like, already rotting.
Yes! And so I'm like, you cut your fingers off a long time ago. Why are they still pouring blood?
Yeah. Oh, that's so bizarre.
And it's also like, if that's what I'm paying attention to, there's not enough other interesting stuff going on. Do you know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree. And, like, I was really mad at the ending, too, because, like, I was expecting it to go a certain way that I would have been like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then they didn't do it.
What did you expect?
I was expecting that when she goes to burn the house down and her son's inside, like, it would have made more sense if it was actually her son and she, like, completed the curse by, like, burning the house down, killing her son. But then they didn't do that.
I see. See, it was, like, very clear. As soon as the kid was in the house, I was like, that's not her son. And then I'm just like, you're burning a ghost, so nothing's happening.
It should have been her son, though. That's the thing. It totally should have been, because that would have made total sense with, like...
That would have been a nice R rating.
Yeah, exactly. And they just didn't do it. And I was like, oh, cowards.
Yeah, totally. That's a good point. That's a really good point. And also, no offense, that kid actor was so bad I could not take it.
Oh, he was awful.
It was
so
bothering me really bad.
Yeah. The part when he's in the house at the end, he's like, Mom, don't do this. I'm scared. And I was like, oh.
I was like,
honey.
this is a mess. And honestly, a lot of the acting, and it's sort of hard to tell because, well, I don't agree with that. Sorry. I'm having a full conversation in my own brain. But it's like you have multiple groups of people, sort of multiple storylines going in and out of each other. And it felt like they were trying so hard to make us care about them. Like, desperation to give this movie feelings that I still had no feelings.
I cared about, like, the Lin Shaye's husband.
Yes, I agree.
So I like that one scene where he's, like, talking about, like, you know, oh, like, it could be a good thing living in, like, it's, like, proof of, like, the afterlife. I thought that was, like, a sweet scene, and then it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was like, maybe I only like this character because I like this actor the best.
I do love Lin Shaye, though.
Yeah, no, Lin Shaye is always having a great time, and I do love that. But I didn't, a lot of the other people I wasn't even that interested in. And, what is the guy's name, who played the real estate agent?
Oh, John Cho?
Yeah, and they sort of, like, I felt like, before going to the movie, I thought he was, like, a much bigger character, and he's, like, doing a lot of the interviews and stuff, because I guess he's one of the more famous ones.
He's just the biggest star there, that's the thing.
Yeah, and I was like, your character, like, just sort of hopped around and didn't help anything.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's a shame too, because like Andrea Riseborough, who plays the main detective, like
yeah.
I loved her in Mandy.
And what?
In Mandy,
Oh, Mandy. Yeah, totally.
she was great in that. And I was just like, oh, you just wasted her here. Okay, cool.
It just felt like a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of boring choices.
Yeah, I agree. First horror movie of January, though, it's almost always a failure.
I know, and I don't like to say that because I'm always like, I try hard not to go into something being like, everyone said this sucked. It's January. I know it's gonna suck. Instead, I try to be like championing it before I go in. I
don't like going into movies with bad expectations.
Totally, because it's like, yeah, of course you're not gonna like it.
Like, I was like, maybe this will break the streak, and then I was like, oh, goddamn.
But also, I mean, The Turning is coming out this month, which I can't wait for. And
see, I actually don't have much hope for that one. I don't know why.
I love Brooklyn Prince. Did you see the Florida Project?
I didn't. No.
She is a star. That movie is a masterpiece. It's not a horror movie.
I'm not even like doubting it on the acting. I just like. First of all, we're getting multiple adaptations of Turn of the Screw this year.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah, we're getting 2 adaptations of that this year, and then like I don't know, the trailers just didn't really do anything for me.
I mean, I don't know. I'm excited by it. And then Gretel and Hansel, I think is
Gretel and Hansel. I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And then I'm stoked for Antlers.
Oh my god, me too.
I cannot wait for. Have you watched Channel Zero yet on Shudder?
I saw the first season.
Okay. Yeah, because the showrunner of that is the guy who wrote Antlers.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's based on like a short story of his, which is creepy as hell. But I'm really that's like my most anticipated of the year by far. I'm so ready for that.
I just realized how far behind I am in the chat. I don't even know what you guys are talking about anymore.
I think they're just talking about like our commentary on the Grudge and also Event Horizon. Interestingly enough.
Oh, okay. All right, just pull that in. Dreadlord said movie was just as soulless as Pet Sematary. Yeah. I feel that.
It's like I didn't hate Pet Sematary when I first saw it. I went to an advanced screening in Brooklyn.
Oh, you did?
And I got to see they brought Church the cat there.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
It was so cute.
To trick you into liking the movie.
Yeah, I guess. But then like I left and I was like, you know what? Like the more I thought on it, I was like, I didn't like that as much as I thought I did. I thought the little girl I thought was great.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I just really didn't like. I don't know.
I didn't think it was
the best Stephen King adaptation we got this year.
I didn't think it was scary. I was like, this feels like I actually didn't mind the change, the big scary change.
I didn't like that they spoiled the change in the trailer though.
Sure, that's a good point. But I was like, that's fine. But I was just like, the true like scary stuff about Pet Sematary, because Pet Sematary is like a really silly thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a silly concept overall. And especially because it's, like, zombie cats. Like, it's very silly. But, like, the idea of, like, a child dying and, like, all that stuff needs to feel, like, very heavy. And I was like, I don't feel it. No,
I didn't feel it either. And that's the thing. Like, it's a shame because, like I said, it was not the best King adaptation we got this year by any means.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed by it. But also, 2019 overall was just a good year for horror in general, like as a whole.
Yeah, I think
there
so.
was a lot more stuff that I liked than I didn't like.
I absolutely agree. I was doing like my top 10 list, and I was just like, wow. I I wasn't like I liked these movies. Like I loved a lot of these movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, you and I had a very similar top 10 list.
Yeah,
so, like,
I think we have similar taste in general, actually.
We do, yeah. I think there were 2 things that you put on there that I didn't. I think Haunt was one of them.
I loved Haunt.
I liked Haunt. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot.
You know, I think I loved Haunt so much because the day before Haunt, I watched. I'm not trying to spread hate, but Candy Corn, that movie.
I didn't even see that.
Okay, well, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen, and I was so excited about it, and I was like, ooh, like a spooky Halloween movie that takes place on Halloween with pumpkins and shit. I can't wait. And I watched it, and I was like so sad. And then the next day I watched Haunt, and I was like, this is so much better.
It was definitely refreshing. Like, it was a lot different than I expected it to be, but I liked it a lot. Like, I thought it was really cool. It was a really inventive, like, take on the whole, like, extreme haunt thing.
Yeah,
Which
I
is,
thought it was so
extreme
fun.
haunts are scary, like, in their own right.
I know. I don't think I could do it. I always say I could do it, but then when I really think about it, I'm like, I don't know if I can do it.
I would never be able. I would never be able to. I'm like, don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be so down, and then like the moment someone actually grabbed me, I would just start crying.
No, I feel that though. Like, that's kind of how I feel that too. Dreadlord said The Lodge, Antlers, and Gretel and Hansel. Yeah, I agree. The Lodge is also one I'm excited for.
I know. I've been so worried about it because it's gotten pushed back a bunch.
Well, like, I think it got pushed back because it was. I don't know why it got pushed back, but like.
I don't know either. Because it was supposed to come out this in 2019. I thought.
It's supposed to come out in November. Yeah. I think they might not have wanted to put it up against Doctor Sleep. Maybe.
Was it just a U.S. thing? Maybe it was released other places. I don't know.
I think it was just a U.S. thing. I don't know. I loved Doctor Sleep though.
Oh my god, I loved every second of it.
Oh, so good.
I also love supernatural shit, and like I don't know, it just gave me everything I needed about The Shining, and then everything I wanted from like Doctor Sleep. It was like,
no, I agree. I totally agree. Like, it was one, like, Rebecca Ferguson in that movie is so good.
She's really good.
So good in that movie.
Oh, but, so good. Ben's also saying I hoping Underwater is good.
I'm also hoping Underwater is good. I'm gonna probably go Thursday night.
I can't decide if I'm gonna. So I'm not a huge. Not that I just am not a huge like creature feature person in terms of like aliens and
creatures.
And like sea monster or like just underwater aquatic horror, if you will. Like that's just not.
Terrified of the ocean.
Oh, you're scared of the ocean?
Oh my god, yeah. Because like, there's so much about the ocean that's just scary. Like
so much you don't know.
Only 5% of the ocean is mapped.
That's wild.
There could be anything down there.
Yeah,
and that scares the shit out of me. So like, Underwater is gonna be one of those movies where I see it and I'll be like, I don't like it.
Well, there's also something that is. I was listening to there's a podcast called the Mile Higher Podcast, and honestly, highly recommend it. I just discovered it this week. Recommend it to all. But it's this like husband and wife that cover different conspiracy theories, true crime, paranormal stuff. A lot of different topics, but they're really, really great hosts. But they, at the beginning of every episode, they talk about like weird news from that week or whatever. And one was like some submarine had gone like the deepest any had ever gone. And I was like, see, that freaks me out. Like the idea, because I'm also, like I said, like claustrophobic. So like the idea of being so under pressure under the ocean, that's not for me.
No, thank you.
That's not for me.
I'm not about it. You know, I have thalassophobia in the weirdest way. The Wind was yeah, I didn't like The Wind.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I was really bored by it.
I heard it was good-ish.
I wanted to like it so bad because it had such a cool concept, and it was kind of like The Witch but on the prairie. But, like,
is it like very like atmospheric? Slow thing.
Yeah, but like it was boring to me. Like, and I love The Witch. Like, I love The Witch, but I was so not into The Wind.
Did you see? Did you watch Hagazusa?
I didn't. No.
Oh my god, I hated that movie, and everybody loved that movie. I wanted to know if you liked it.
Like my friend saw it at Brooklyn Horror Fest.
Oh really?
And yeah, he saw it when it premiered at Brooklyn Horror, and then he was like, it was one of the worst things I ever sat through. Don't see it. And I was like, okay. And I haven't watched it because I trust his recommendation.
It's funny. I feel like everyone on the internet was like, this incredible art movie.
Yeah. And I was like, is it? Is it really? Like,
I thought it was really boring.
Like, people like flock to certain movies that on Shudder, there's certain movies that people flock to. And I'm like, I watch it. And I'm like, I don't get it.
Oh my God. I'm just like shit talking movies right now. But did you watch Nightmare Cinema?
No.
That's one that on Shudder is like one of their highest of the year or something. And I was like, it's bad. It's an anthology, but it's not good.
The one that I never understood the hype for. Did you see Terrified?
Oh no, I've never seen Terrified. Is that the is it Spanish? What is it?
I think it's like Brazilian, Chilean, it's some
Okay.
South American. Yeah, I watched it and I was like, I don't get it at all.
Oh,
Like, I
people
don't
love
understand.
that movie. Oh my god, people love that movie.
Yeah, and I don't get it. Like, I don't get why people love it so much. Same with Dead Shack was the other one I didn't get.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, I hated that movie so much. And it's a shame because like I love Shudder and I love the original stuff they put out, but I
Yeah.
watched that and I was like, this is terrible.
You know what I can't wait for? I cannot wait for Tammy and the T-Rex to come on Shudder.
I'm intrigued by that.
I cannot wait. It looks so ridiculous.
It's the uncut version, right?
Yeah, so it's like the way it was supposed to be. Like it's like not the version people remember watching. It's gonna be like a bloody version. I'm like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see that. It's going to be very, very weird, but I'm excited.
Oh, we also have people mentioning New Mutants in here. That was one that I was like the most excited for last year because the trailer just looked so good. And I know trailers can be deceiving, and I'm not like a superhero junkie or anything, but I'm still really excited.
I'm excited too. Like, I mean, it got pushed back for like 3 years, but I'm excited.
I know.
Like, well, once I found out that the version they're releasing is the original cut, now I'm like excited for it.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't hear that.
Because the whole reason for the pushbacks were like it was originally going to be released in like 2017, I think, and then
that's so crazy.
The studio wanted it to be less horror and more traditional, whatever. And
Bummer.
And the director was like fighting them on it, and then the studio was like, "We want reshoots," and the director was like, "No." And then, so it was going to come out last year, and then they pushed it back again because the whole Fox Disney merger was happening.
Oh, wow.
It's going to do with it. But now it's actually coming out, and it's coming out as the original cut of the movie. So I'm like, I really hope it's good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rat Whisperer also mentioned "Come to Daddy" with Elijah Wood.
I watched the trailer. It looks very interesting.
It looks very interesting. I actually left that off of my like 2020 horror list, which I felt dumb about. But Elijah Wood is like a huge genre fan, and I love that. He's like obsessed with horror movies, and it's like producing them. Like he helped produce Mandy. He's producing Color. What is it called? I just lost it. Color.
Space.
Say it again.
Color Out of Space.
Yes, Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Greasy Strangler.
What?
The Greasy Strangler.
He did that?
He produced that.
Oh my god, I did not know that.
I love that movie.
I have never seen that movie.
It is completely insane in like the worst way, but it's like meant to be like it's a movie that's designed to annoy its viewers.
When I think of Greasy Strangler, I think of the character in SpongeBob with the like spatula for a hand.
Swinging slasher.
Yeah, the half swinging slasher. Like that's what comes to my brain, but I've never seen it, so I don't know.
It's but like it's such an insane movie, and it's just like made to be just like gross and just ridiculous, and it's the kind of movie where like someone will say a line and they'll repeat the line like 16 times in a row.
Oh no.
And it does that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I think where it's like anti-humor, where it's like it's funny and then it stops being funny and it just keeps going to the point where it starts being funny again.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know if I would like that. I feel like I would be very turned off by that.
You might be. It's like it's definitely not for everybody, but it was the kind of movie that I saw and I was like, this is so insane that I'm like crying laughing.
Yeah. That there is something about someone making a movie and just being like, I don't actually care if you like what I'm doing or not, and you might hate it, but I'm gonna do it to you anyway.
Exactly. It's like an endurance test, and I love it. There's a 2-minute scene where they chant "Hootie Tootie Disco Cutie" over and over and over.
I feel like I have to like be very drunk or high to watch this.
Yeah. I've never watched it drunk or high, but I really should. Like, I feel like that would be an experience because I love it. It's so stupid, but I love it.
Do you know what the let's see, Batman mentioned the Oats Project? Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, Neil Blomkamp.
What's that?
Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9.
Oh.
He has like a bunch of short films on YouTube that are like crowdfunded.
Oh, cool.
And I don't think he's ever going to actually do anything with it. Because like I think they're just kind of like little proof of concept films, and there was one that almost got funded but never did. But they're really good horror sci-fi shorts, and they're awesome. There's one with Dakota Fanning that's like, it's called Zygote. If you look that up, you can. It's great. But there's like, it's just this really crazy body horror film, and I love it.
I love how long. Like, this is how you know Horror Movie Club went well, is if my list of things to watch is quite long at the end of it.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
That person said, what do you think about the Hellraiser reboot? I'm intrigued.
That's not my franchise. I don't know.
No?
It's just, it's just not my franchise. I don't know.
I love the first two Hellraiser films, and everything after that I hate, but I'm intrigued with the Hellraiser reboot. I think it could be really cool. I have been dying for them to cast Tilda Swinton as Pinhead.
Whoa! I would be very interested in it if they did that.
I've been pushing for that forever because the book Pinhead is like androgynous, and I was like, Tilda Swinton, please.
You should just tweet that every single day until it happens.
I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna tweet it at whoever's responsible for the movie. Just be like, Tilda Swinton, please. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, I really am excited if they do it right, which depends, you know.
Which, yeah, you never
know with Hellraiser, because the last 8 have been bad.
I didn't even know there were that many. In my head, I was like, there's 4.
10 Hellraiser movies.
Okay, I've seen exactly 2 of them.
The first 2 are the only good ones.
Okay, I think that's the only ones I've seen.
Yeah.
It's funny how, like, sometimes, even if I do like a movie, like, I was just talking about, like, Saw, and even, like, I loved the first couple Saws, like, I loved them so much, and even still, like, I couldn't continue on till the end, or till now. It's like,
Saw got so stupid after the third one.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, at a certain point, I'm like, I feel like it's just like on someone's to-do list to make another Saw movie versus like making anything exciting, and I'm just like, I don't know.
They are like a weird guilty pleasure for me, because it's just like the kind of thing where after the third one, I'm just like, how stupid can these get? And they progressively just get more and more dumb, and it's fun.
And then at a certain point, I wonder if anyone's like, no one's watching these anymore anyway, let me just do something really stupid.
I feel like that's what Jigsaw was.
Oh, I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Oh, it was not good. It was really bad.
Though I am so curious to see this organ donor one.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Samuel L. Jackson's in it, so I'm like, that may be entertaining.
I'm like, I have to see him do this movie. Like, I can't not watch it.
It's kind of my thoughts on it, where I'm like, I need to see what they do, but I don't know. I'm excited for Candyman, though.
Me too. I want more information.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the trailer to drop, because I loved both Get Out and Us.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
And it's directed by a woman.
Yeah.
Which I think is very exciting.
Really cool. And I mean, Jordan Peele kills it with the social commentary horror.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, for him to take Candyman, which was already a social commentary...
Totally.
And update it to modern standards, I'm so excited for that.
I'm excited, too.
As much as I'm happy that Tony Todd's coming back, I feel weird about it, because I'm like, why is he older?
I know. He was actually in that freaking candy corn movie, and it was one of those things where you could tell they had him for like a day maybe on set. Like, I don't know. It wasn't his fault.
But you need to see, it's on Netflix, and it's like a 40-minute short. Oh, God, what's it called? It's Joe Dante directed it, which is really sad. And it stars Corey Feldman.
Oh, what?
And it's hilariously bad. But Tony Todd's in it, and it's depressing.
Oh, God. That's the worst, is like, because sometimes, I mean, a lot of the times, the actor can only do so much. And it's like, when you see an actor that's like, I signed up for this, I had a contract, and there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, you're better than this, don't.
But it's like, it's already done, it's too late.
Yeah. I felt that about Barbara Crampton a few times in the last few years.
Oh, like what? Do you have a specific example?
Did you see Dead Night?
Oh,
yeah, it's Dead Night and Replace specifically were like the 2 movies that I hated. And I was like, girl, you're better than this. You're the nicest woman on the planet.
Oh my God, yeah. She really truly is. Like, she is like a bright shining light.
Oh, she's so sweet. I love her. But yeah, messy.
Hey. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I know we've gone so far away from why we came here today, but I was curious if there's anything else we wanted to mention about. I already forgot to say it again. No. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best thing I could just say is watch it.
Don't be afraid of the length.
Yeah, don't be afraid of the length. Like it doesn't feel like a 2-hour movie.
It really doesn't. And it's one of those things where, like, for me, if a found footage is over 90 minutes, I'm suspicious.
Yeah, but no, it really, really works.
Can you give me the charger? Sorry. I just asked my boyfriend for the computer charger. I texted him, but he didn't get my text, so.
Sure.
Thank you. But yeah, I feel great. I've got all these like recommendations and stuff. Oh, before we go, I have to read the rest of the month's movies.
Ooh, yes, I want to hear this.
Yeah, okay. 1 second. Guys, can you please hold on? Okay. Alright, let me pull it up. I think I already know. I looked earlier today. But sometimes people vote last minute, so you never know. Let me see. Thank you.